So last class we started up with machine learning, different types of machine learning. So today we are going to look into that. So machine learning is what like we understood is it's the science of programming computers so that computers can learn from the data. So here we learn like how do you teach computers so that they can also be learning from the data by themselves rather than explicitly being trained every time. So now here machine learning is made up of these four pillars. It's also called as four maths of machine learning or four mathematics inside machine learning. So first one is statistics, that is the core. Now statistics is used here to study the data, that is to study how to organize, analyze, interpret the data. And calculus is used to optimize the models, that is by understanding rate of change of models. Okay, how do we optimize those functions or those values? Then linear algebra is used for complex computations like complex mathematical calculation, and probability is used to measure the uncertainty. So now these are the four things which we have in machine learning. Now, certain examples to look into machine learning is like face detection, bioinformatics, email spam filtering, traffic prediction, sales market prediction. So these are few examples of machine learning. Now, there are four types of machine learning. So these are the basic ones which you come across in machine learning. There are more, like always, there will be something new which comes up. Now, like I'll be sharing you one book on machine learning. In that also you might see there will be something called as online learning, batch-based learning. So like that, some new terms also you might see. But the basic ones which are there in machine learning type is supervised and unsupervised machine learning. These are basically supervised, unsupervised. On top of that, also we have something called as semi-supervised, and we have something called as reinforcement learning. So these are the basic types of machine learning what we have. So next here we'll understand like one by one all these types. So here in our class we are going to practice supervised and unsupervised learning. Semi-supervised is a mixture of both. That's what like if you use both of them, supervised and unsupervised together, it will be semi-supervised. Reinforcement learning we are not going to practice here in class. We are going to just understand the concept, what is reinforcement learning and all. But to practice that again, this comes into mostly deep learning. So once you learn deep learning, then only it will help you out to understand the reinforcement. So now we'll just understand the basic concept. And supervised and unsupervised, we are going to practice like most of the algorithms which are there in those. Okay, now to come with supervised learning. So now supervised learning, you can say is the learning where your data is properly labeled. Okay, so supervised learning is a type of learning where the data is labeled. Means whatever data you have, the data is properly labeled. That means you have y values, that is dependent variables, for the given independent variables. So suppose if it tells like suppose you have a label saying if the data is dog or cat. So saying, okay, these are the features, X value, which tells you, okay, it's a dog, that is Y. Or these are the features which tells you it's a cat. So now here we have X and Y both. Okay, so in supervised learning, we have X and Y both. So here we are going to train computer based on X, how Y is related. Okay, that's what we are going to train here. To do that, we'll be using a mapping function to map our X with Y. So here you can see like Y equal to f of X. That means like whatever X is there and Y is there, in between them we have a mapping function which is used to tell you, okay, how they are related with one another. So if you recall, we did linear regression. In that also we had the formula y equal to b naught plus b1x. So that is nothing but we had a mapping function b naught and b1 between x and y, okay, which was mapping and telling, okay, how they are related with one another. So now supervised learning algorithm is all about finding out that mapping function, okay, which can relate your x with y. Okay, so are you getting this supervised learning?
Yes.
Okay, so now in supervised learning, we call it as supervised because here it's like supervising the system, saying, okay, based on the given X, okay, what is your Y? So that's what we are supervising here. Okay, now to understand, like taking this example, suppose I have a fruit basket. In that basket, I have different types of fruit in that, and I am going to train computer saying, okay, based on these features, what fruit it is. Okay, so saying, like suppose I will say if shape of the fruit is something and color is something, then I will label it saying, okay, this is what the fruit is. So like once I do that, like here I have done saying if shape of object is rounded and has a depression at the top and color is red, then I will say it's an apple to computer. Similarly, I'll say, okay, if shape of the object is long curving cylinder and color is yellow is green, then it is banana. So like that here, I'm going to like train computer saying, okay, based on this given X, what is the Y? So now once I have trained all these fruits, now suppose I take a new fruit uh, which I haven't trained to the computer and I show computer, okay, to detect like what type of fruit it is, like what's the fruit, like what is the label for that fruit. So it can easily label. Suppose I give a new apple, so it can easily say it's an apple because it already knows like if shape is rounded and has a depression at the top and if the color is red, so it's an apple. So like that it model has already learned saying how apple looks like. So that's why it will be able to predict also the same thing. So this is what is supervised learning. So supervised learning is where we will be training computer based on the given X value, we'll say what is the Y value by using the mapping function. Okay, so are you getting this example of supervised learning?
Yes.
Okay, now like in supervised learning, there are two types. One is called as classification, the other one is called as regression. Now, classification is where the output variable, that is your dependent variable, will be categorical. Okay, like suppose you are trying to find out if a person is
Here we
diabetic
know
or not.
the output, like what has to come, but it is in categories. Same like regression, here it is fixed, like if it is rupees, so rupees has to come. Weight, so weight has to come, right?
No, say rupees is not a categorical
Regression.
data.
No. I'm saying in classification, the output, it will be in categories, like two will be there, three, four.
Yes,
But in
yes.
regression, it is fixed. But we know what will be the output. Like output will be rupees always, like dollars always, weight always. So regression means system, like computer, it is teaching itself like to guess. In is it no, that is the supervised.
See,
Okay,
regression is when you have continuous data, like values which are changing, like continuous data,
but it is
like a
fixed
time.
means one thing only,
Yes,
like
always it
color.
will be one.
Hmm.
Anything, color cannot be regression.
If it is one thing only, like red, always red, so it will come under regression, right?
Yeah, always, no, see, it's again like a unique value you are saying. So
Okay.
red, like only one category. So nothing to do there. Like what we want to find out, there is nothing to find out. It has to vary.
So suppose I have rupees and dollars, then that will come under classification, right?
No, no, you have rupees and dollars. Okay. So
Yes.
some like you are finding out if something is a rupee or a dollar. So it's categorical, but it's a categorical value. Categorical value comes under classification. Okay, but here I am saying dollars, only dollars, like saying, okay, price, house price. House price keeps on changing. Okay, it will be different values. Okay, so that's continuous. So it's not categorical data. That in that you will use regression. Similarly, like weight of a person, there might be hundreds of person in your data. Okay, everyone's weight will be different. Some might match, but most of them will be different. So that might be regression like that. Okay, so anywhere you see continuous data, it will fall under regression, and categorical data will fall under classification.
Yeah, understood. Like Venn diagram, we make Venn diagram here, it will become red, blue, other circle red, other circle blue. But in dollars, it will be one. Inside that circle, lot of things will come.
Lot of things will be there. Yeah. Lot of things. Like dollar also, so many values will be there inside that. Okay. So now this is classification and regression. Now some common types of problems built on top of this classification and regression include recommendation and time series prediction. So recommendation is there in classification, like recommendation engine, uh, here mostly Flipkart telling you if somebody is looking for a particular product, what other products they might be interested in. So it's like a classification, recommendation engine, and time series prediction that comes under regression. Now, some popular examples of supervised machine learning algorithms are like linear regression algorithm is there for regression, like that random forest is popular for classification as well as regression. Similarly, support vector machine is famous for classification problems. So like that, these are certain algorithms which are there. But we are going to read a lot. We are going to read linear, simple linear, multiple linear, logistic regression, support vector machine, KNN, knife bash. So a lot of algorithms we are going to learn here. So now here, this one is clear. Any doubt you have in supervised?
No, it's clear.
Okay, so next is unsupervised learning. So unsupervised learning is where only you have input data and no corresponding output variable. So your data is unlabeled. Means you don't have Y for your data. Okay, you just simply have X for your data. So now in this kind of scenario, we cannot supervise our system. We cannot supervise saying okay how to work on like what to find out with the like means how things are related with one another, like we cannot map anything saying okay this is the X, these are the Y. So here the goal for unsupervised learning model is to find out the underlying structure or distribution in the data in order to learn more from the data. So here we have to find out more about the data by understanding how things are there within the data set. So usually here we don't know like what will be the output, like how Y is related with X. So here we only have X, that is only the input values. Now to understand this, suppose here I have a data set of cricket player names. Okay, in a data set I have cricket player names, and like it says like these are the cricket player names, and how much runs one player has scored and how many wickets a player has taken. Okay, like that it just tells me how many runs somebody scored, how many wickets somebody taken. So that's all I have within the data. Suppose runs scored, wickets taken. Now like what else we can find out within the data? So now from this data I can use unsupervised learning to find out the underlying structure within runs scored and wickets taken. So what this will give me, like this can tell me who is a batsman, who is a bowler. Okay, now like if somebody has scored like more runs and less wickets, then it's a batsman. If somebody has taken more wickets and less runs, then it's a bowler. So like that I can get out from this data set who is a batsman, who is a bowler. Getting?
Yes. Understood.
Similarly, like in a like suppose Flipkart wants to find out okay who are their premium customers, like they all don't know who are their premium customer, who are their regular customer. So they want to segment this customer. It's called as behavioral segmentation. Means they want to find out based on the behavior of different users. Okay, what type of user is that? Then they can put unsupervised learning, and it will show them saying, okay, group the users based on their purchasing behavior, and it will say, okay, this guy falls into premium segment, this guy falls into like low segment. So like that, it can group people. Okay, so it's kind of unsupervised learning. So unsupervised learning is where you have only input data, you don't have any corresponding output variables for the same. So now categories of unsupervised learning will be clustering and association. So now again, unsupervised is of two types, clustering and association. Clustering is where you will be grouping similar data together, like here, such as grouping customers by purchasing behavior, like that. Association is where you want to discover rules that describe that if somebody is interested in A, will also be interested in B. It's like mapping people based on like associating A over B or associating one with the other. Okay, saying okay, if somebody is interested in buying this particular mobile phone, might also buy this cover. Okay, like associating a different product there, saying okay, that guy can also buy a mobile cover which is this. So like that, this is association. Okay, so now some popular examples of unsupervised learning algorithm are k-means for clustering and a priori algorithm for association. Okay, so are you getting?
Yes. So first one, like suppose clustering is there, it is like one Venn circle. Another one is two circles are there, but they are associated. Is it like that?
Yes, yes, yes. Now see, in clustering, it can be any number of circles.
Mm-hmm.
Clustering means grouping datas. Okay, like based on similarity. So here, like I will say, in case of like cricket data, so here like it's showing me okay how the data is already there. Then I'm grouping them, saying okay who is batsman, who is bowler. So how am I grouping? So it will see like where like what are the unique observation within the data, means what are the unique groups. Okay, there might be three groups saying okay batsman, bowler and all rounder, or there might be two groups like batsman and bowler. So as many groups I will ask, computer will show me that many groups. So I have to understand what are the unique things within my data set, which I can find out within the given X values. Getting? So I can have more than 2-3 groups also within a data.
So these groups we will be predicting or system will be giving to us. Like these are the possibilities of groups.
System will be yes. See here we will say what are the possibilities of group. Suppose if you say three, system will predict three different groups like that. Okay, so we have to tell there. Otherwise, system doesn't know what's there within the data. It doesn't know. It just finds out what are the unique things. That's all. And what are the unique? First, we have to understand a bit. Then we have to ask. Like I want to group customers based on their purchasing behavior, so I can think of how many groups can I get within my data. So that's what I will tell computer to do. Getting?
Okay.
If I say computer, okay, find me out like within player names, find me out only batsman and bowler, I will ask for two unique observation. It will only show me batsman and bowlers. If I ask for three, then it might show me all rounders also there, like that. Okay,
Okay.
if all rounders will be forming a unique cluster, then. So like that, this is like unsupervised learning, okay, where we need to have certain understanding to do this. Otherwise, see, unsupervised learning uh, doesn't know like about the data. It doesn't understand what's there. It just shows you the uniqueness within the data set. Okay, like how unique it is or how things are correlated. For that also, like association also, if you see, there are something called as rules here, like different rules will be there in association. Based on those rules it will work. Okay, so these are your supervised, unsupervised learning. Then we have semi-supervised. Semi-supervised where it's a mixture of both supervised and unsupervised.
One doubt I have. Suppose in this unsupervised, we have the case of orange and apple. So will it define segregate in group of colors or what or circle? Because it's
Orange
both are
and apple means,
circle.
what you want to find out? Orange and apple
Like
means,
I want to differentiate like which one is apple, which one is orange.
see, you don't know if it is apple or orange.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you don't have Y. Apple and orange you already know, means it's label. Means you already have Y for that. You already know based on this feature it is apple. So you already know. So that doesn't fall into unsupervised. Suppose
Okay.
you have the characteristic. Okay, you have the characteristic saying okay color is this and other thing is this, like that you have the characteristic, but you don't know what it is. Okay, so then you can say, okay, within my data, suppose I have two things I want to find out, apple or orange. So you will say, find me out two unique observation. It will give you two things out of that. Saying, okay, these are class 0, this is class 1. Like that, it will give you value. It will not tell apple or orange. It will group them saying, okay, one class, this is other class, it found. Then you have to think, okay, which one is what, like that.
Okay.
Getting right?
Yes.
So like that, it will group. If I say 3, suppose there are like only apple and orange to be found within my data, but I ask for 3 observation, then it will give me something which is not needed, okay, which will be redundant. So that's where you should only ask based on the number of groups you can form. Okay.
Yeah, yes, it's okay. Please.
Okay, so now next is semi-supervised learning. Semi-supervised is where you have both X and Y. Here, like in some cases you might have X and Y, some cases you might not have. So it's like a mixture of both supervised and unsupervised. See, like mostly, like in real time, like when you gather data set, most of the data set will be unlabeled. Means it's very difficult to actually find labeled data. Suppose you went to a hospital, you want to gather all the patient records. In those, some of the data might tell you what type of disease that patient has, and most of the data might not tell anything. It will only say, okay, what's the blood pressure and other thing, but it doesn't talk about the disease, okay, which is the label. So now, like most of the data in real time are like that. So when you have mixture of both, like you have certain labeled data, certain unlabeled data, then you can use like unsupervised learning to find out those labels, then supervised learning to train the computer. Okay, so like that you can do here like using both supervised and unsupervised learning. So that is called as semi-supervised learning, okay, where you are using both type of learning. Getting?
Yes.
Okay, next is reinforcement learning. Reinforcement learning is very different as compared to the usual like machine learning algorithm. Now, this learning works based on something called as feedback. So it's a feedback based learning. So it uses it gets feedback as its input, and based on that it tries to learn from the data. So here the learning system which is going to learn is called as agent in this case. That agent has the ability to observe the environment, select and perform actions, and get rewards. Like when it is doing some action, it will be getting rewards in return when it performs any action. If it's a correct action, then it will get rewards. If it's a wrong action model is doing, then it will get negative reward. It's called as penalty. So like here the model will try to learn what is the best strategy, okay, which we call as policy. So what is the best strategy to get the most reward over time? Like how does it get more and more rewards? Okay, so that's what it will try to find out a way to get maximum reward. Now to understand this, suppose here there is this robot, what you see here. This robot has to go and catch this diamond without crossing the fire. Suppose without crossing the fire, it has to go and find a safe way to reach to the diamond. Now what robot will do, like it will first it might cross the fire. Like whenever it crosses the fire, I'll say I will give a negative reward, saying suppose -2, that's my negative reward penalty. And whenever it takes a right path, I will give him +1. So like this robot will try to find out a way where it gets maximum reward. Then I will say, okay, find me the shortest way within the maximum reward. So it will find a shortest way where there is no penalty. So that's where like robot can learn from the feedback from the system, okay, where it is. So based on the feedback, it will learn what's the right path to take. Are you getting this?
Yes.
Okay, now see some of the applications here are like DeepMind AlphaGo program. So AlphaGo is a program like which was created by a company called as DeepMind. It is now under Google. Google took over the company. So now here this DeepMind guys, they created a program AlphaGo, which was AI based Go player, like a robotic player. So that there is a game called as Go game. Okay, so Go game is very famous in China, South Korea, and other places. So there was a guy called as Lee Sedol. Did you guys know about this Go game? Do you guys know about this game?
No, no, I don't know.
No,
Okay,
Shubham.
now, okay. See here, like Go game is the most complicated game in the world. It's like a puzzle game, and like for any Go game, like suppose like it looks like a chessboard, okay, but a bigger chessboard with only two types of dots, like black and white dots, like that. It will be like if you look at this, this is how Go game looks like.
Oh,
Okay, like
checkers
Go
side.
game, like how it, yes, yes. Okay, but it is more very, very complicated. Now, suppose one guy has taken 1 ton, the other guy has 100 to the power 7 million possibilities here. Okay, like which is very, very complicated game. So this game is like one of the toughest game which is there, like which is out there. So now, this AlphaGo, it's a program by DeepMind where they created that AlphaGo using this reinforcement learning. And that AlphaGo was made to play with the world champion of Go game. Okay, and his name was Lee Sedol. So Lee Sedol, he was a South Korean guy, and like this AlphaGo was made to play with that guy. And this AlphaGo actually defeated that guy. Okay, by learning okay how Go game actually works. Like AlphaGo got defeated first time, and in the first time it learned all the possible way to defeat the champion, and that's why like it became undefeatable, like no one can defeat this AlphaGo program. So now this is a game, okay, which was created fully using reinforcement learning. Now after this, like people started fearing, saying okay, AI can take over the world, because they started fearing okay how powerful, how intelligent it can be, okay, by this game. So that's where it become a lot famous. And now this reinforcement learning is used everywhere. Like if you look at email spam filtering, in email spam filtering, okay, to figure out if it's a spam or not, you might see there is a button saying report as spam. Like when you report your email as spam, it tries to learn the entire email how it is, and based on that it will try to flag it as spam. Similarly, if you see in traffic prediction also, they in Google it shows okay, report as traffic jam. Based on that, the model can learn and report, like say everyone that there is a traffic jam. So it's like getting feedback from the system, and based on that they will be working on the system. So here mostly reinforcement learning is also used in self-driving cars. Now if you look at the concept of self-driving car, it's written in convolutional Q learning, deep Q learning. These all are under reinforcement learning. Okay, so reinforcement learning is something which is most widely used nowadays in robotics, self-driving car, in all those kind of places. So it's a feedback-based learning. So are you getting this?
Yes.
Okay, now to summarize all, okay, we have supervised, unsupervised, semi-supervised, and reinforcement. Supervised is where all data is labeled and the algorithms learn to predict the output from the input data. Unsupervised, all data unlabeled, algorithms learn the inherent structure from the input data. Semi-supervised, it's a mixture of both supervised and unsupervised techniques. Reinforcement, it's the learning where it's a mechanism where the learning happens based on feedback. Okay, so these are the different types of machine learning uh, algorithms. Okay, now within this we have lot many algorithms. So these are different types of machine learning, you can say. So we'll first start off with supervised, and we'll be looking more into supervised and unsupervised. Semi-supervised is just mixture of both. Reinforcement, we are not going to use it here. So you need more understanding on neural networks and all to work on that. We will mostly work only on supervised and unsupervised. So now to start off with supervised, we'll start off with regression. And first we are going to do simple linear regression, which we have already done earlier, but this time we are going to do simple linear regression with machine learning model. So we are going to do some practical on this. We'll be taking some data set and we'll practice supervised learning on that. That is simple linear regression. And here we are going to use all the techniques what we have learned till now. So you can open a new notebook, and then you can import this file that is salary data.csv. Okay, so we'll be doing some linear regression on this. Okay, just try to read the data.
Yeah, I got. Done.
Hello.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, yeah,
Done.
imported.
Yeah, yeah, done.
Okay, okay. The voice was not coming.
Oh, even your voice was not coming. I was waiting.
Okay, now this is see in real time you will not get this kind of data set like where you have only one independent and one dependent. Usually that will not be the case. Simple linear regression means where you have only one independent variable. Like that that is also called as univariate linear regression. So here mostly this kind of regression is done within multivariate. Like if you have multiple variables in regression, you want to find out like how each of the independent variable is contributing towards dependent, then you can go ahead with simple linear for each of those. So this is just a basic example which is there to practice. So it's a real time data. This data is also available in Kaggle. So using this we are going to do some test, basic one. So now here we have some independent and dependent variables. So now here our task is to find out the relationship between years of experience and salary. So we have to find out like how these two things are related with one another. So now like here suppose this is a data set from HR department. So now this HR department actually like in a company they hired a guy. That guy is almost 1.6 years experience. So here you see 1.5 years experience. That guy is 1.6 years experience, and he is asking for a salary of $42,000. Okay. Now here what we see is like 1.5 years is getting 37,731. So 1.6 years is asking for 42,000. Okay. Now here HR department wants to find out like how years of experience and salaries related with one another, and what kind of salary they can give to a 1.6 years experience here. So here we'll be doing a regression to find out the relationship between years of experience and salary. Okay, so are you getting the problem statement?
Yes.
Okay, so here first we'll be looking at dataset.info, which will show us if there is any missing value or not within the data, and like what are the data types. So here it says years of experience and salary, both are float values. So both are float type of data, and also 30 records we have in both the record, both the data sets. So now here in both the variables 30 records, that means there is no missing value. Okay, so done this dataset.info.
Yes.
Okay, next we'll be picking our data in X and Y. So here I'm saying X is dataset.ilog colon comma colon minus 1. So it will pick the first column. Okay, means the last one will be excluded here. And Y is colon comma 1. So last column in Y. And so after that, we'll be doing some visualization on X value to find out more on X. Okay. So first you take your X and Y value, plot your X and Y value.
So last time for SB something we had written, I just forgot because the error is coming. SB is not defined.
Import Seaborn SSB. Just see if
Okay,
you have
okay,
imported.
yeah,
Import
understood.
Seaborn SSB.
I had written SD.
Okay, okay. So now you are getting this graph.
Yes, I am getting.
Okay, so now this is a distribution plot. Usually this plot is used for univariate distribution. That is also a histogram. Here we are plotting a histogram to see how years of experience is distributed. So now here we see more years of experience towards the lower side. So around 2 to 6 we see more distribution is there and less distribution towards the higher side. So that means what type of skew is this? This is what type of skewness, positive or negative?
It's positive.
Okay, positive, as it is skewed on the positive side. So here in positive skew, more data will be concentrated on the lower side. So that's what we see here, that this is a positively skewed data. Now here to check that, you can use this dot skew. It says 0.37, a positive value, so it's positively skewed. Also kurtosis, it says it's a negative kurtosis. Data is well distributed here. Then you can use describe on the data to see what's the minimum maximum. So here we can see minimum years of experience is 1.10 and maximum is 10.5. So we have these years of experience, and our goal is to find out for 1.6 years experience. This is how the things are, and 1.6 years lies within this 2 to 4. So here if you see this 1 to 6, so now here like we have more data within this range, so it will be easier to predict. Okay, so you can do this skewness kurtosis and describe the data, years of experience.
Yeah, done.
Then after that, here we'll be doing a box plot, as it is like one variable we have years of experience. We'll see if we have any outliers and other things. So here we see the data is well distributed, no outliers or so. So that's what we found out. So next is after box plot, just do the box plot. After that, we'll see if X and Y are linearly correlated, then only we can go ahead with linear regression. Then we'll see how linearly they are correlated with one another. First, you do this box plot.
Yeah, done.
Okay, so now next is, here we are doing a scatter plot between X and Y, that is years of experience and salary. And here we see like they have linear relationship. And to find out like how linear they are, here we are also finding out the correlation coefficient between them. NP.CORR it says 0.978. So 97% linear. Okay, like they are very much linear with one another. Like a strong, highly positive correlationship is there between them. Linear correlationship is there. That's what we see. So we can go ahead with linear regression.
Yeah, done this one also. Right, NP.
Okay, the next is like here we will be doing model regularization, that is train test split, splitting our data for training and testing. Then after that, here to do the training, we are going to use from scikit-learn linear model. There is this package linear model, import linear regression from this, then create an object on that, then regressor dot fit, pass the training data, it will learn what is b0 and b1. So here the formula what it is going to use is y equal to b0 plus b1x. So that's the formula it's going to use. Based on that, it will find out b0 and b1 here in regressor dot fit. Then dot score, it will give you the score. Here I'm checking the score on my test data. It says 988, means 99% accuracy is there within my data. So here it's highly accurate on the testing prediction. And score, what it will do, what score will find out internally, like what it will find out, what's the equation?
No, I don't remember this score.
It finds out r square.
Okay.
There is something called as r square, okay, which is given by 1 minus sum of square of residual by sum of square of total, or sum of square of regressor by sum of square of total. So it will find out that r square, that is how close the regression line is, that is the predicted line towards the observed data point. So here it says 98% close, means it's very close. So that's why like the prediction is very, very accurate. Okay, you can try this.
I'm getting error for this simple linear regression error.
What's error?
Just
Can you
type,
check?
cannot import name linear. Okay, name. Yeah, 10.
Okay, so now here we can also predict by saying regressor dot predict of the values x test. It's predicting what are the different values. So now here our task was to find out, okay, what should be the salary of 1.6 years experience. Here I'm passing 1.6 years experience like as x, and it gives me y is $41,680. So now this is the amount what the 1.6 years experience guys should be getting. For 1.5 also it shows 40,000. So that means the guy who is there within our data is underpaid. So this is what he should be getting. We saw that 1.5 years it was showing 37,000, which is not right. So it should be around 40,000. So that's what our model shows. Okay, this is how we can predict any values. By giving some x, it will show us what is the y for that. Okay, you can try this.
You're done.
Next, here we'll be plotting the line, that is the regression line, to see like how it how it falls. So here, like I have taken this train data, this is my data, and here we are plotting this line by using plt.plot. Plt.scatter will take all the data and put it in scatter plot, and plt.plot is this line. Here x values is this x train data, and prediction line is regressor.predict. Okay, so that is the predicted value it will give you. So that is nothing but the y value for the given x that forms a line. So here it shows, okay, this is how values are falling on top of the line. You can try this.
You're done.
Done. Similarly, here you can look for test data, how test data falls. So here we are getting 98% accuracy, as only one value is outside, and all the values are falling on the line. So this is how you can check the test data. So on the same code, just scatter plot, you can put the test data.
You're done.
Done. Now this is how like we got the entire regression. We suppose you want to find out something more within this, we can also see this one, that is a residual plot. It tells you like how the values are distributed, is it a good fit for linear model or not. Anyways, we already saw it's a good fit, but still, like if you want to look further into it, here we see that okay, residuals are distributed in positive as well as negative side, and it's a good fit is what we can say. So this is called as a residual plot. You can try this.
You're done.
Okay, next here, like this is our this one, that is OLS report. So OLS report tells you how good your features are, like what is the F statistic value for that, what's the p value for t test, all those it will do and find out Durbin, Watson, Jarque, all these things. So here you can also do an OLS report on that. So OLS report shows us R square and adjusted R square is 95%, accuracy is 95%. Here we see F value for the given independent variable is e to the power minus 20. So it's like 20 zeros in front of point. So it's like it's a very small value. So here p value is also good. That means the factor which we have taken, that is years of experience to figure out the salary, is very good. And also here p value is 0.00 for t test. That means also it's a good factor here. So you can do this OLS test. which gives you a proper understanding of the data.
I'm getting error for stat models dot API. It says
What does it say?
okay, done. Done.
Done.
After state, it was just I pressed enter. The models came down. That's why error.
Okay.
Now
Okay.
it is done.
Okay. Okay. So, anyway, so now this is how you do an end-to-end regression. Okay, and like here we get to know, okay, like this factor is a good factor. Also, we got an accuracy of 99%, which is very good. So that means we can easily predict based on the years of experience what kind of salary somebody would be getting. Okay, so we will keep it till this and we'll continue next class. Any doubt here?
No, I will just go through all this. In next
Yeah,
class,
okay.
I will ask.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, fine. Okay.
Thank you. Good night.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.